Hey there, it's Brittany Chavers, and I'm back with Jesse James Beads, and today we're going to be making some fun projects using some of my favorite shapes, which is the heart. So I have this gorgeous ombre, white, beige, red, and darker red heart strand from Jesse James Beads, and I love, love, love hearts so much. And then some beautiful like cherry red heart chain. I think we're going to make some earrings, and then we're also going to make a bracelet using both of these in the Chinese Takeout bead mix. So all of these are available on Jesse James Beads, and I will provide an affiliate link in the description of this video so you can make the exact same thing I'm making. All right, let's see what's in here. I immediately saw these and thought that's a cool button for a bracelet. So we're going to be making a bracelet with that. And I thought these little tassels would be great for an earring using the chain and one of the hearts. So we're going to make a bracelet and matching earring set today. All right, we'll start with the bracelet, and we're actually going to make two. I love wearing bracelets stacked on top of each other, so these are going to go really well with each other because we're using all the same colors, and they're actually the same design. It's just different beads on each bracelet. So I'm going to start with putting out my flower as the button. So you'll see that in just a moment how we're going to make that into a closure. And I have a little crystal bicone for the start and the end of this bracelet. I'm going to use this cherry red little crystal, smaller turquoise crystal, two of the bamboo beads. These are gorgeous. Blue and red and turquoise and red and teal and red are some of my favorite color combos. So I'm loving that these colors come together in this mix. I probably couldn't have put together a better color combo myself. And then we're just going to repeat that pattern until we're finished with the bracelet. And I'm going to take my Bead 19 strand bead stringing wire. I have gold. I need a crimp bead, and I'm just using a generic crimp bead today. We'll need two for each bracelet, and I have some 11/0 seed beads in gold. We might use some of these for spacers throughout the bracelets, but we're definitely going to be using them for the closure. So first I am going to load on my button, my flower. And then I'm going to choose a little tiny seed bead from my stash in coordinating turquoise. I'm going to put one of those on. And then I'm going to come back down through that flower, but outside of that bead, like that. So that bead is our little piece that's stopping our wire. I'm going to cut my wire off my spool because we're going to need to crimp this. And I'm going to put a crimp bead on both ends of my wire. And we'll put that up against our button, or our little marguerite bead, whatever you want to call it. And we will make sure our wires are not crossed, and then squish, turn 90 degrees, squish again, and then squish one more time. Okay, and then we'll start loading on our beads. I am going to put on my crystal bead caps. And then I planned out the rest of this bracelet, but if it becomes too long or too short, we can add in more beads. I am going to put on my next crystal, but between this and my next bead, I am going to put a gold seed bead. And then I'm going to put a gold seed bead between both of the coral beads. So if the bead itself that's next to the next one does not have gold in it, I'll put in a seed bead. Now this one does have a gold color, so I'm going to just put that on without a seed bead. Then we have a spacer or a bead cap, so I'm not putting in another seed bead. Hope that makes sense. Put in a seed bead, another one. Okay, so that is part of one half of our bracelet because it actually didn't come out to be very long. I'm just going to, that's about half the length that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and change up my design. I'm going to put on another seed bead, one of our hearts, a seed bead, and then half the bracelet is our design here, and half is hearts. And that actually makes me even happier because I love hearts so much, and I wasn't going to have one on here, but now we have a bunch. All right, so I'm going to put all 4 of the dark red hearts on and then measure this against my wrist. So I added on our little bicone at the end and a couple more seed beads. And then we're going to do our closure. So I'm going to put on a crimp bead. And I know this looks just like the seed bead, so you have to be careful and remember which one's the crimp and which one's not. And then we're going to load on a bunch of seed beads. And these seed beads, we're going to come back through that crimp and make it into a loop. And that looks like it's probably big enough. So we'll come back through our crimp bead right here. You can try going back through some of your seed beads, but most of the time those 11-ohs don't allow wire to go through twice, depending on the diameter of your wire also. So we can loosely decide if this is big enough for our flower, and I can add on more beads if it's not. I think we need 1 or 2 more. All right, so we'll come back down through our crimp. And we'll pull, and we want to make sure all the beads are down up against our button, and then we'll pull this tight. You want to make sure your bracelet is in like a U shape so it doesn't get too straight. Next, we're going to find your crimping pliers and come in and crimp just that bead. Now if you're crimping, if you accidentally get your other beads in the way, it will crush your glass seed beads, and then you're going to have trouble and you'll have to restring. So I always do a flat crimp because it can be a little tricky trying not to get some of those seed beads in your jaws of your pliers. Then we will trim. We have a beautiful bracelet with an interesting closing, because I know sometimes we get, I love my one-handed closures with toggles, but this is one-handed too, and it's easy, and it adds to the beauty of the bracelet itself. And I love that it's an asymmetrical neck or bracelet with my favorite color combo. Super gorgeous. Okay, for the next bracelet, we'll use that same flower, and then we're just going to use some more of the hearts, crystals, and the other beads from the Chinese Takeout mix. And the fun thing is you can add on a charm. You just get a jump ring and put it over one of the seed beads. Right here is a great place to add a charm. Super cute way to liven up your bracelet. Again, we're going to just take our 19 strand bead-along bead stringing wire, put on one of our crimps, put on our flower, our little turquoise seed bead, or you can do gold, whatever color, red, whatever color works for you. Come through. And then again, you don't go through the seed bead twice, just once. And then move that crimp onto the second piece. And then come in with your crimping pliers. And squish. And turn and squish again. One more time. Okay, and then I am going to start putting on my beads. And this one I think has a little bit larger hole, so I don't know if a seed bead's going to work up against that one, but we can try it. Let's see how it goes. I'll trim this wire off here. Oh, seed bead will be fine. And what I'm going to do is when we go into the heart, I'm going to do 2 seed beads, but on the pointy end of the heart, I'm only going to do 1. Now we will have an issue here because I know that hole is a little too big. Right after The porcelain bead, I'm going to go with a 6/0 seed bead instead of an 11/0. But everywhere else, I will do an 11/0. And to give it some extra length, I'm going to put on this little square bead or rectangle bead and a couple seed beads. And then we'll go into our closure where we put on a crimp and then go into our seed bead loop. So I'm going to put on 2 more seed beads, my crimp, and then several seed beads to create my loop. And we'll do the exact same steps that we did on the other bracelet. Come in with our pliers and squish. And trim. And there we go. A cute little bracelet stack. You can wear them separately. You can have them as friendship bracelets, whatever you think that you would like to do with these, but they're so cute. I love the coral getting in there. I love my favorite shapes and my favorite colors. So there's a cute little bracelet stack. And then we're going to make a matching pair of earrings. So you'll need one of the tassels from the mix, one of the little crystals, one of the bright red hearts from the heart strand, and the red chain. I'm just going to take one little link, just going to cut it off. There's a link in the between them. And I have some 22 gauge German style wire, and I'll just cut off a piece. And I'm just going to do simple loops on this, but you can absolutely do a wire wrapped loop. So for a simple loop, I just bend at 90 degrees, take my round nose pliers, and then bend it back. Okay, so we have our simple loop. And then I'm going to attach that to my tassel. So we'll just open it up, swing my tassel on, and close that. Then I am going to put on my bicone, my heart bead, and then we'll do the same thing at the top. So I'm going to just bend it 90 degrees, cut it off at about a 1/2 inch, and then wire wrap that back. Okay, just like that. And then we are going to open that up, hook on the bottom of our little heart charm or heart connector from our chain. I love that chain so much. And then I have an ear wire. And there you go. We've got an easy beginner-friendly pair of earrings that are going to match your cute little bracelets. And I put the bracelets on. See? So fun. They're just so vibrant, and there are so many different ways that you can use these beads together to make the bracelet your own. But you can use this technique with any bead that maybe you're not quite sure how to string, since there's only one hole right in the middle of a very large bead. So there we go. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Jessie James Beads for having me back. All of these items will be linked in the description of this video, and those are affiliate links. They help my channel. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for Goldie. She's super cute. Bye-bye. What's going on, puppy? You just hanging out with Mom? like you usually do. Look at a cutie doodie. He's a cutie little girl. Yeah, he's a cutie little girl. These paws. You need a need a manicure, huh? Yeah. Yeah, look at that nose. Look how cute you are. Hi, cutie booty.